It's a Tuesday discussing matters biashara and innovation, and our guest today, from a journalist to a diplomat, to a musician, and then to an agri-revolutionary. Oh yes, I've got that right.
That's a cool title, agri-revolutionary. I like that.
Agri-revolutionary.
I like that. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Gilad Millo. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
First off, I love your music.
Thank you so much.
I definitely have to say that. I may or may not have thrown and used some of your lyrics as
pickup lines.
Oh yes.
Yeah. If they worked for you, then I did my part. You know, I'm grateful.
Balozi wa mapenzi.
Asante. Yes.
Oh yes. But then this morning we talk about matters garlic. Have you ever sung a song about garlic? First of all, that's I've seen you.
People are writing on Facebook. We had a whole conversation on our Facebook page with fans. And people are throwing out lines, Kitungu saumu, nini nini. It was really funny, you know. But I am, you know, there's no secret that I've been working on an album forever. Someday I'll finish it. But many of the songs are written Shambani, you know.
If you're to do a freestyle on garlic, how will it sound?
Well, I don't know. I don't freestyle. Me, I don't freestyle. I don't freestyle. I don't have that. It's not like that. I have to think. I have to that. But I have, you know, anyway, I mean, there's songs that I've written which have to do with, leave alone garlic itself, but with agriculture and with watering, nimepanda mbegu, nimetoa maji, you know, that kind of lyrics speaks to me, you know. Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll be talking about 80% farming and just trying to throw in about some 20% of music, what you do and how music really gets into matters garlic. And we'll have this photo right here, and you're looking at it and you're like, no, that's not a...
Somebody Googled garlic and put a picture on the screen.
And you're like, no, that's not garlic. We'll be showing...
No, it is garlic. It's just not what we grow in Kenya. It's just not what we grow in Kenya.
So you walk into the market, and you look at, you know, garlic, and you'd know this is a garlic grown in Kenya and its specific type.
Today, in terms of what happens in the Kenyan market, yeah, I mean, I probably, you know, I'd recognize variety, no problem. I can pretty much tell you quite a lot about the garlic just by looking at it and who grew it. I mean, not now, like, if you gave me a piece, I wouldn't be able to, I could tell you variety, sure, and such, because colors are different and you know, things like that. But we're blessed for choice in terms of the varieties we grow in Kenya. Yeah, I mean, we've done consistently 3 varieties since we started. And like one of them, we sent to an American company who tested it and tested like for 5 different things. And it tested off the charts, like the best quality they'd seen, and they want like tons of it, yeah? And so we have a contract from them to supply a lot, yeah? Much more than, I mean, right now we're figuring out how to get it done and how much to plant in order to get it done, but, and we're doing it through small-scale farmers.
So let's go back down in memory.
Yeah.
When was all this agri-revolutionary side of you, where did it start?
You know, I used to be a diplomat, work here for Israel. Israel's very involved in drip irrigation, and there was the Kibwezi irrigation project, the Wazez who remember back in the day. That was in the early 2000s, late 1990. And it was an irrigation school funded by USAID and run by Israeli Mashav in partnership with the University of Nairobi. So as deputy ambassador, I used to, like, you know, cut ribbons there, but not, you know, you'd come and dress like you, yeah, in a suit and tie and give speeches, not really be involved in the agriculture, more in the donor side of the agriculture.
Yeah.
Remember, small-scale farmers back in those days were seen as a burden, okay, a problem to be solved by the UN, the NGOs, the donors. We came in, okay, so fast forward, I came back to Kenya in 2008 and joined Amiran. And I joined Amiran on the ticket of creating an area, food security, small-scale farmers, working in that direction, which the company hadn't done before. And then we came out with the farmer's kit and the small greenhouses and the drip irrigation. And it grew over 8 years that I worked there to a youth-led agribusiness revolution, okay? Giuliani was at the forefront, if you remember him, as the brand ambassador for Amiran, going around the country, and the Farming is Cool concert tour. And then we launched it in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Zambia, in Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda. And it was, ribbons cut by presidents launching greenhouses, yeah? And loans for youth and things like here we had the Agrivijana loan, for those who remember, from the Youth Fund. It was over 10,000 youth groups who were given loans for greenhouses and things. So that was all my baby, I mean, that was my area of the company, the business development, the PR, and convincing the youth of Kenya to look at agribusiness and say, wait a second, there's money to be made here. Leave alone now, you saw your parents were subsistence farmers and they didn't do well, so you're thinking, okay. Or when you were in school, when you misbehaved, you were sent to do weeding as punishment. So your association, it's a negative one, okay? But
and
now,
mostly in our generation, right?
Yeah, but it's still like that. But Kenyans are entrepreneurs, okay? And just look at it from the money side. Simple, okay? You don't have to be the farmer. It's not a dirty thing. And actually, when you have a shamba, obviously you're going to employ shamba boy, a farm manager, call it whatever you want, for shamba girl. Women have proven themselves to be better farmers. I'll say that openly. So when you invest in a business, you're giving jobs to other people, young people, okay, who are, if you look at the guys working on our farm now, they've been doing garlic for over 2 years. They're good. They know what they're doing. So nobody steals them, but I mean, that's the way it works. Experience is the best teacher in agriculture. It's not, I don't want to challenge the academy or the universities or such, okay? But a professor teaching garlic farming or tomato farming or watermelon, for whatever it is, yeah? The theory of it, great. But will he be able to recognize a purple blotch or a rust or a downy mildew when it really comes on the ground and it doesn't look like the textbook? And you know what it is by its coming, because you see that the crop is unhealthy. Just like you see, I don't know if you have children, or brothers, sisters, doesn't matter, young, when you know them every day. And I always tell in the training that, because I do the trainings myself, most of them. And part of the training is that I compare between children and the garlic cloves that we're planting. Because from day one, you have to babysit them you can't leave them alone. You've got to give them food, you've got to give them water. You have to protect them from disease. And the healthier they grow, the healthier,
So why garlic?
God's
and actually, now I'll follow up on that. Did you stumble on this?
Yeah, Kabisa stumbled.
Oh, for real?
Kabisa stumbled. I always wanted, working for Amiran back in those days, I always wanted to have my own. And we did. Back in those days, we had, you drink the Kool-Aid and you start believing also what you're selling. And so we had a greenhouse at home back in those days. Drip, my wife was farming organic. We had herbs, we had cherry tomatoes. So in my house, cherry tomatoes was like, my wife's a vegan. Yeah. So cherry tomatoes was like, and herbs and things like that.
Yeah.
And we grew that at home back in the day. But I always wanted my own shamba. I didn't know what it would look like.
What were you envisioning in your shamba?
No, I didn't. I'm a romantic, okay? For me, it was my vision, which is what's happening, okay? Is if you come at the right time, you'll find me sitting there with a guitar, singing out loud, because, the only people who can hear me are like the neighbors who are like way off. And so that's my space to be me and sing to my crop. But more, you see, I'm like, I toy around, part of it's so much fun, it's so healthy for you. Now remember, for me, this started in COVID. Not exactly in COVID, but I had gone on a meditation retreat, okay? 10 days of no speaking, no talking, which is where I met my partner who was there. We didn't speak on the last day. We each introduced each other, and I dropped that I had worked for Amiran and for agriculture. 2 weeks later, he said, let's have coffee. And he comes from garlic. He's a garlic expert. He said, I want to start a garlic farm. I said, instead of advice, let's go 50-50. And we went 50-50. And we've been partners. He's my best friend. And other than that, he taught me garlic. And I come from the small-scale business of garlic. When we realized, we grew for fun. Our first 2 seasons were just as farmers, only, okay? And the result was so good. And we sold so easily. And we were kind of dictating the price. walking in with this gorgeous garlic into different supermarkets and saying, you know, give me this, and they'd negotiate, but they'd all buy. If you're in business and you have that kind of feeling, right, you understand that there's a crazy demand here and a very low supply.
Oh yes, so that's how the Ole Raha.
That's how Ole Raha was born.
Right.
Ole Raha is named, you know, his wife's name is Rahel, and my wife's name is Hadass. So Ra and Ha is the first two, and it works out, of course, for Swahili. So,
yes.
But Ole Raha is each named after our wives, you know, and it really is like a family business that grew, and just like back in the day with the greenhouses, the same approach. Once we realized the crazy demand, now either grow your farm to 100 acres and grow as much as you can, or implement the model that you yourself created, which has to do with addressing every need of the small-scale farmers on the value chain, okay? So my value chain is finance, technology, training, extension service, market, okay? Finance, I don't have yet. You know, if microfinances and banks are looking and they're watching, or apps who have, you know, loans, then I think a loan for garlic farming would be great, and I'm happy to discuss it. And then you've got technology. So we don't sell drip irrigation, we advise, but the cloves that we sell, that's the technology. You need those to get them right. And those have to be prepared correctly in order for them to, you know, and they have to be sourced properly from the right, you know, like that, yeah?
All that Zorta, let me also advise the viewer. So on the right side, on the right bottom of your screen, you're seeing the live pictures of State House, and we might be crossing over there shortly, expecting President William Ruto to be assenting into the affordable housing bill at State House, Nairobi. So this is after the National Assembly, as well as the Senate gave a green light to that affordable housing, and we'll be giving you those live pictures coming up in State House. So definitely stick around for that. Back to matters, garlic. So
I wish I could screenshot your screen right now. You got a picture of State House and a strip underneath that says garlic farming. I love that. You know, imagine if the president were to get up right now and talk on because he's actually one who gets agriculture, yeah?
Oh, yes.
But I mean, imagine if the agenda, the forefront of all of our agendas was now youth in agribusiness, putting money behind that, putting muscle behind that. The potential is mind-blowing, okay? Put all the Kenyan youth startup, entrepreneurial effort towards creating Kenyan solutions or African solutions to African problems, but I mean, the apps, the startups, the different things that will modernize the way forward of modern agribusiness. It will be focused to the small scale, and it will come from here, okay? So when we talk of agribusiness and money in agribusiness, farming, garlic farming, that's one basic, you know, that's one source, tomato farming, etc. Garlic farming is unique in that there's a crazy demand and a very low supply, and we're importing from China like 60 tons a week, and ours tastes better, okay?
Oh, for real?
By far. Go any supermarket, check your white Chinese, whatever, garlic, which is like chemicals to treat the roots so you can't regrow it, and chemicals to paint it white and whatever. And then come to our natural garlic in cooking, in the way it tastes, in the way it smells, in its healing ability, yeah, for medicine. Nothing compares to what we have here.
Ours is much...
I told you, we had a variety that all 5 things that are checked for garlic tested off the charts, yeah? So we've got something very unique here. And for me, I want to like wrap the Kenyan flag around it before anybody wakes up and figures out what it is. It needs to be a Kenyan thing. It needs to be like, imagine people sitting in America going, Kenyan garlic, right?
Oh, yes.
But I'm not eager at all to stand in line and sell to America. We've got a market right here which doesn't require us to jump through loopholes in order to sell to others, okay?
So Ole Raha does not export?
I don't need to. We don't need to. We're selling here. The demand is crazy. We're not even close to meeting the demand. If I had another 50 tons right now, I could sell it no problem. Yeah, I don't have it.
In one of your videos on Instagram, you say the demand is high, the supply is low. What do you mean?
It means that we could, I mean, like I just said, if I had another 50 tons right now, I'd pick up the phone and make X amount of phone calls and get rid of all of it, because that's how much garlic is in demand. If we're bringing in 60 tons, I think it's a week, from import, yeah? And Kenyans prefer local garlic, then the logic dictates that we have room for 60 tons of local. We're not even close to producing 60 tons of Kenyan garlic, a week. We could use, there's room for hundreds of farmers, yeah?
And speak of farmers, because I was taking a look at the comments, on the comment section on, a number of the videos on your socials. And so people are curious about, well, apart from the whole music bit, curious about the size of land, the location of land, how much water it requires, and, if, for example, someone is in a particular area, let's say in a very hot weather kind of place, comparing to somewhere in Mount Kenya, will it be the same?
Garlic loves sunshine and water. We have plenty of both, okay? Everywhere. Where don't you have sunshine in Kenya? Everywhere, okay? Water, I've been kind of vocal on this one, because I believe that if as a country we solve the issue of water for farmers, the private sector would do the rest, and the economy would boom, okay, based on agribusiness. So I think water is a major issue, because we're in borehole farming, and borehole's expensive, so it's not an easily solved, but most people do have access to water. Garlic itself grows originally in these cold countries like Russia and Eastern Europe and Canada, okay? And they do a 9-month season, and they plant ungerminated cloves. But the point is that garlic is accustomed, yeah, to minus 30-degree temperature. So if you call me from Kinangop, or you call me from Nyahururu, the night is cold here. It's cold for you, it's not cold for the garlic, yeah? The garlic's okay in those temperatures, yeah. Actually, think about it. Nyahururu, people will say, oh, it's cold here, right? Yeah. But Nyahururu is a very onion country, right? There's many, many onion farmers in that area. Onions and garlic is cousins. It's the same crop family. So usually where one can grow, the other can grow. We actually try not to repeat them one after the other, because crop cycles, because they're taking the same nutrients out of the soil. Like I rotate my crop every 2 or 3 seasons. With on our farm, our farm is a teaching farm, so we plant in small blocks and different varieties, so we can show stages of crop and things like that. But in principle, every 2 or 3 seasons, I do yellow beans, which is a quick, non-expensive season, and it puts the nitrogen back in the soil so that the garlic has it in the next season.
Does the farmer now require a specific size of the farm? Because I mean, you're really
We've got farmers who are growing an eighth of an acre.
Farmers.
We've got farmers who are growing on an eighth of an acre, yeah, 50, what is that, 50 by 100, yeah? And we've got farmers on 100 by 100, yeah, quarter acre plots. We've got farmers growing on half acre, all the way up to 10 acres, yeah? But right now, I mean, we have over 200 farmers on and off working with us. Some of them are in season 3, season 4. And obviously, like anything, the ones who stick it out and continue, I mean, treat your first season also as a learning season. You're doing something new. People call me and they say, I need to, in our area, we need to do a pilot. I said, it's not the garlic that needs the pilot, it's the farmer that needs the pilot, yeah? But that's okay. Do a pilot, start small, don't burn your fingers, make some mistakes, learn, make a small profit or break even. You're going in it for the business, okay? But the long-term approach, the marathon approach to any business will give you better income, yeah? And the more you stay with it, the more your expertise develops in that field. I'm now 4 years a garlic farmer, but because we plant in blocks and because I visit and see online, what the farmers are sending, I've seen hundreds of seasons in different stages, yeah? So the more you do it, the better you get at it. The better you get at it, the more money you're going to make from it.
And you're also advising farmers to come into the farm and get this training. Tell us about
right
that.
now, we don't have standalone training. Okay, everybody loves training. Okay, yeah. God willing, we'll get there, and we're developing a proper center. But right now, the people who we're training are people who are growing with our seeds. Okay, so you buy the seeds, and then you part of the package includes training, includes a spray program. What do you call it? Personalized to your soil test, and then we stay with you throughout the season. So we've got farmers from all over the country sending videos where, based on the video, I give you all the feedback you want and you get it online, yeah? So we're working with farmers from Kilifi to Bungoma, Eldoret, Meru, Embu, Kajiado, Kiambu, literally Hapa Nairobi, so many, and it's proving itself everywhere, okay? There's not a variety that grows well in one place and not. People think, which variety grows well in my place? It's not true. All varieties will grow well in all places, yeah? They're all our local varieties. So pretty much, I mean, I've said this before, look, we have, I come from Israel, okay? Yeah. Israel is 80% desert, yeah? And when you grow up in that kind of weather, and then you come here, and you see very rich soil, the black cotton, the red soil, the loam soil, the really, take your choice, yeah? And if you put a rock in the ground, it's gonna grow green as long as you give it water, yeah? So obviously with a strong crop like garlic, which is fairly resistant to disease, it has its challenges. Don't get me wrong, you know, disclaimer, there's no easy money. My dad always said, if somebody tells you easy money, look closer, yeah? This is work, daily work, and there's mistakes that you can make. And if you are a telephone farmer and you don't show up to your farm for 3 weeks and you send me a picture of such a diseased crop, and Gilad, help. There's only so much you can do, right?
So for this farmer who will come to buy the seeds from you, what do you tell them? You know, so these are the kind of varieties of seeds that we have. How do they choose? Because
you know, we walk the journey with everybody, okay? So it's from the beginning, like literally, pretty much from the first call we're already explaining, and then when you move on, immediately, because it takes us some time to prepare the seeds. The moment you've placed your order, okay, we get into land preparation, okay? So we guide you, send you pictures, send you all the information you need, whether you're growing with drip irrigation, then I need you to make your beds this way, 3 lines of drip, etc., etc. And I'll guide you on measurements, kila kitu, every detail, yeah? And then if you're not growing with drip and you need other beds, there's 2 options of different beds. So we'll discuss your farm, type of soil, water situation, etc. What was planted there before? Are you in a rain area? And based on that, we'll plan your beds and then give you guidance how to prepare them. You'll prepare. And then when you're ready and the seeds are ready, you come to our farm in Isinya and we do a training. It's like, you know, people say, I want to see the farm. We don't do farm visits because it became a tourist destination. People were coming for selfies with the garlic, with me, with sing for us, and I was like, with all the love in the world, I can't, and plus we have neighbors, right? And there's children running around and people are coming with cars. So we stopped it. And now the people who come to the farm for training, VIP, you're coming by yourself, max 2 or 3 farmers at a time. And then it's a full training on all garlic farming, correct practices, the whole steps of the season, from pre-planting to planting to scouting diseases to look for watering.
Harvesting as well?
Harvesting, post-harvesting. Because garlic needs to be hung and dried. It's called curing for about 3 weeks after harvest. Yeah, it's not like onions that you just chop and send. Yeah,
I was actually seeing that on Raha's IG page, and I was like, what's happening here?
Because
the whole hanging of it.
Curing garlic, okay? If you don't cure garlic, yeah, within about 10 days of drying, the outside layers begin to peel, okay, and then when it dries, very quickly, they'll break and the cloves will separate. So when you go to the supermarket and you see in the crate single cloves of garlic just lying around, it means they weren't cured properly, okay? However, when you do cure garlic, it will become solid like a rock for even 3 or 4 months. So you can store it, and if you're, like, I won't buy uncured garlic back from farmers, it's part of the process you have to do. And the supermarkets are the same. All the clients, everybody we send to, nobody wants to deal with uncured garlic because it spoils quickly and shelf life is everything in market, yeah? This is a product that you can really keep for months, right? So.
And speak of months, so naturally, how long is the season of garlic?
4 months is the season, give or take, yeah? I had a farmer who uprooted at 4 months because I had told him 4 months at the beginning, and I said, you know, you had time, because garlic develops the most in its last 2 weeks. We don't know when those 2 weeks will be, so we have to give it the longest time we can in the ground. There's one way to know for sure when garlic's ready for harvest, no doubt, okay? The stem falls to the side, okay? It's very unique to the crop, but anything else, it's not ready, okay? And that's how you know the stem has done its job, the leaves have done its job, transferring the energy. What you learned in school, photosynthesis, right? The leaves collect the energy from the sun, feed the stem, feed the bulb, and it grows, okay? So our job is to be the defenders of the leaves, and these are all my training, my training examples. But at the end of the day, it's a 4-month season, give or take. And then, because colder seasons will take a bit longer, warmer seasons will go faster, but it doesn't really matter. We plant all year round and give another 3 weeks, 2 weeks at the end for drying, curing, market. So I call it 5-month season. So people who are calculating how many rounds can I do in a year, you can do 2 seasons and then a round of beans and then start fresh, you know. So 2 seasons of garlic in a year. Yeah.
Right. Being told we need to cross over to State House, but then we can wrap it up. An advice to farmers, a real quick one. Where can they get you as we wrap it up?
So Oleraha on Facebook, Oleraha on Instagram. The phone numbers are there. You can DM us any way you want. We're looking for farmers who have land with water. Without that, we can't